It is my pleasure to welcome back to the Tri-State College Basketball Podcast my fellow Seton Hall alum and head coach of the UConn men's basketball team, Dan Hurley. Dan, nice to see you again. Thanks for coming on. I know it's a crazy schedule you have, but I really, really appreciate it.
Well, we always do this, Brian, and we go way back. So this is something we do a couple times a season. So it's great to be on with you.
Yeah, no, and it means a lot to me, Dan. So listen, crazy schedule that you have, but you have a bye week, right? A little bit of a lull, if you will, in between these the games that you had, an emotional win over Villanova. I want to touch upon that because your team was tested, right? Coming off that emotional loss, that beat down that really Creighton gave you, and you tested your team. They passed with flying colors. How did you like the way your team responded to that?
Yeah, I think we obviously hadn't lost in a while. We hadn't lost in 2 months prior to that. So anytime you lose, it's jarring. No matter how well you're playing, no matter what your program's accomplished recently, it was a jarring jarring defeat. And I think we responded appropriately. I don't think we played a perfect game or a perfectly clean game, but we certainly got back to our identity because there were some things that were uncharacteristic that we did in Nebraska.
And look, Villanova tested you, and you knew they would. I mean, they're a hungry, desperate team, and they fought you for 30 minutes. How about the way your team really pulled away in those last 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean these are desperate games. I mean, we're desperately competing, with Marquette for the regular season, and we're playing, either teams that are competing for the same thing or teams that are on the bubble or near the bubble that are fighting to get into the NCAA tournament, and a win over UConn, puts you in. So without any questions asked. So I think for us, our mindset this time of year is, we lost the number one ranking. We had it for a while. We liked it. We had some fun with it. But somebody else could have that for a little while right now. We're in championship mode right now, and that's what we're trying to pursue this time of year.
How about Tristen Newton? I think he's been in championship mode, and his fourth triple-double. 10 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists. Had to really work for that last assist, thanks to Alex Karaban hitting that three. What impresses you about this guy, the way he can do it in every category?
Yeah, Brian, he's just he's got great feel, and he's really tall, and he's really smart, and obviously he has great skills, and he also has the mindset to be able to go out and execute and perform. He's got the confidence. He's got the ability to step up in big spots and put forth incredibly well-rounded performances. We're at our best when he's given us 14, 15, 16 points and high rebounds, high assists. I mean, he had 15 defensive rebounds in that game, and there's not many guards. It's got to be a record, man.
It's his record. I mean, 16. That's like Jason Kidd type numbers.
Crazy, and that's where I think the portal is. The portal's so critical, and I think not necessarily from a volume standpoint, but if you could find some older players that have the right mindset, and you have the right role for that player, that's where that portal comes in handy.
Did you ever come close to a triple-double in your career, Dan?
Maybe AAU, right? Like no one played any defense back then.
You must have had, double figures in assists. Did you ever get it in rebounds?
I had to at the Hall. I mean, at the Hall. Trying to think. I don't know.
I'm testing you. Huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to find a good game in my mind, and I just went blank.
It's to get that in rebounds as a point guard. Do you put him in that situation? that say, listen, I don't care if who we have in there, whether it's Klingon, whether it's Caravan, you got to get in there and get some rebounds too. Do you tell them to do that?
Well, I mean, you have to in today's game. The center for the other team is not standing out, is not standing under the basket, anymore. The 5 out style of offense, the versatility of centers, the versatility of four men, the old school power forward has lent itself to, positionless basketball and, all players being spread out along the perimeter. And Tristen just has great instincts, and it's a great way to, we're not playing probably as fast as we would like to in terms of our pace of play, but we're very efficient in transition, and a lot of that is because, the right guys getting the ball off the defensive glass and Tristen.
How much fun is it coaching Cam Spencer? You knew you were getting someone who, is a competitor and a great 3-point shooter, but how much have you enjoyed having him in your team?
Yeah, listen, it all starts at home, man, and he's got just the right family behind him. He's got, two parents and siblings that like are all about like accountability, work ethic. Um, if he doesn't play well, it's like it's him. It's not the UConn system. It's not the style of play. It's not the referees. It's not the rims. I mean, like these are just he's got great old school accountability, responsibility, work harder, shut up, get better people in his ear. So yeah, I mean, and then he obviously has a competitive fire that I could relate to as a coach. I think we both want it really, really bad, and it's just you feel great for him that he's getting to kind of get the exposure to to being on a top ranked team, to being at a team that's got a chance to win the Big East. I mean, he's a lot of people are finding out how good he is right now, and it's been fun to be a part of.
You beat me to it. I was going to say, I see a lot of him in you with that fire. Do you have to calm him down sometimes, or does he have to calm you down sometimes?
I think we just let each other be.
Smart.
Yeah, I think we just let each other. Yeah, there's times where I've had to kind of reel him in, which is uncharted waters for me. I'm usually the one that's either being reeled in from my son Andrew or Luke or Kamani or Adama or Andre. To kind of chill, coach. It's all good. But yeah, this guy, we wouldn't be in the position we're in. We knew what Tristan was going to do, and Klingon and Caravan and Castle and all the different players. But we would certainly be in the conversation to potentially repeat this year without Cam.
Yeah, I've heard you say that. And I would totally agree. He's kind of like that last piece of the puzzle that's really put you in this position. But really it's like the sum of the parts is greater than the whole, right? I mean, you have multiple stars who know their roles, who on any given team could be the star, but they're all comfortable in doing that. That's not easy to do, Dan.
Yeah, well, it's a heck of a commitment, and obviously, you have a culture and a certain individual that ends up with you during a recruiting process because this is what you're preaching. People, that understand that to get the opportunities in the NBA, you've got to be efficient and you've got to win. Putting up big, fake numbers and being on a bad team isn't going to get you very far. I think if you look at, the NBA draft or first round picks, second round picks, majority of those players are coming from teams that have great years and players that are efficient. So, we preach sharing the ball. We preach, getting, moving the ball, getting lost in our offense, which generates, close to 50% from the field on the season and a very high assist totals with low turnovers. So, and obviously it's a defensive commitment that you got to make to play here
Yeah.
and a rebounding commitment that you got to make to play here and a playing harder than your opponent commitment to play here.
The number one offense in the Big East, the number one defense. What are you more proud of?
I would say probably the offensive end. I think I've always all my teams, my Rhode Island teams, our teams here early. We were always solid to really good defensively to great. All those teams in my throughout my career, but just losing in a tournament, not being able to score enough to really advance and win a 6 game tournament, made me rethink the amount of time I was spending on the offensive end of the court, and that's probably the offense.
Really? Okay. So you at some point you said, we need to start paying more attention to the offensive end.
Yeah, just the rock fights. It's basketball. There's so much skill out there and shooting, and the analytics drive so many an awareness about the way you need to play the game that will push you in a different direction. And obviously, in the failure, losing to New Mexico State in Buffalo, and not being able to score, not having enough shooting, not having enough passing, not having enough game processors, not having good enough spacing, not playing with enough efficiency and transition. It just makes you rethink, how you're going about things when you fail. And the ultimate goal here is to win championships, and you can only win championships if you can go on winning streaks. And it's hard to go on winning streaks if you can't score the ball.
Right. But at some point the offense is going to go, and that's where you need the defense. And that's what you have.
Well, that's the other way you win tournaments is being able to win different types of games, right? Like
Yeah.
we can outscore you, we could beat you in a rock fight. We could out rebound you, we could out hustle you, we could beat you in a low turnover game. We could block your shot at the rim. Minus the Creighton game, we generally take away the 3-point line.
So I'm going to assume you learned defense from your dad, and the way, his teams always played defense. Where have you gotten these offensive ideas from?
Yeah, my dad and PJ, I think I learned so much from them. My dad's defense and it's like a rebounding and some defensive things from PJ. Plus, how to build a tough team from both of those incredible coaches. And I think we study a lot of EuroLeague, Euro Cup. I'll also look at what a lot of the low to mid majors are doing, because a lot of those coaches are much better tactically than the high major coaches, just because they have to be. They have less talent. So you can find some really great schemes when you watch, some of the lower to mid major division ones.
That's fantastic. How about the NBA All-Star game? Do you get offensive tactics from that?
Yeah, think I flipped that on, man, for us. That was pretty that was pretty gross.
200 points. Yeah, I count me out for that. So,
No.
so Dan, is the Big East player 2024, the Big East player of the year on this UConn team?
Yeah, I think that's TBD right now. I think obviously the team that wins the league and the teams that finish at the top should be rewarded. Um, unless there's some historical season going on with some individuals. I think you the better the better players from the best team, which will be determined over the next couple of games, I think should get them. Obviously, last year, I was stunned that Caravan, with how he impacted winning on our team, it was stunning. When he didn't get rookie of the year in the league. So you just never know, what the motivation is, or what the coaches are thinking, or whoever is involved in the voting at the last minute.
Well, you certainly have two guys. Caravan's very good too, but Spencer's deserving. Obviously, Newton's deserving. And there's so many good players right now. I guess those are the two that come out the most right now. So I guess we'll see. Your schedule coming up is, conducive to, like you said, hey, we're going to be playing teams that are hungry, that are fighting for an NCAA tournament spot or seeding, and so are you. The next team up on your schedule is one of the teams that beat you, the team that beat you coming out of the non-conference. and a team that you have a lot to play for, coach. You've been talking all year long about how you want to go undefeated at home. So, I mean, boy, this is set up. National television, final home game, senior day, Seton Hall. That's going to be some contest. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think it'll be just a great way to end our season, playing in front of some of the best fans in the country here at UConn that create an unbelievable environment for us. Obviously Seton Hall's had a great year. What Shaheen has done in league this year, in particular in Big East play, has been just a phenomenal coaching job. They've got really, really good players and really, really old players. One of the, I think, 11th in the country in terms of experience. So it's an older team. It's a really physical team. We're going to have to obviously be at our best and play to our absolute, the max of our identity, to be able to have the outcome that we want. We know their level of desperation, with where they are. I think they're going to, they've got a road game this week too, in a pretty tough place before they get to us. So, we're obviously going to use this week, to really zero in on the things that went wrong the first time.
You were distraught after that last game against Seton Hall. It was hard for you. You said it was hard for you to look at the media in the eyes and the way they shocked you. And I know that Klingon went down in that game, and that obviously had an impact because he was having a phenomenal game. Uh, do you think you learned that you had to be tougher? Did that loss, is what I'm trying to say, is did that loss show you that, guys, we need to be tougher? We're talented, but we need to get tougher.
I just think it speaks to college basketball today, just a vulnerability of a majority of the teams, if not every team in the country. Like when you don't play to your identity, you become vulnerable. This only works here for us, when the defense is elite, when we're playing offense for each other, when players are lost at the offensive end in playing for each other, when we win the rebounding war on the backboard, and when we play harder than our opponent. And the players obviously have absorbed the preparation, the scouting, and what we want to do. If there's any part of our attack that goes the wrong way, that things are going to get real sketchy for us, just like any team. And I think it was jarring for us because it just had been an unbelievable run. You win the national championship last year. You blow through that tournament. The only loss up to that point had been on the road at Kansas, where you had a shot to win in the last 5 seconds, and Castle doesn't play. So I think this team here, you get these wake up calls during the course of the season, and that certainly was a wake up call.
So when you prepare for Seton Hall, does the preparation start with trying to limit Kadari Richmond and his ability to get to the rack?
Yeah, I mean, Kadari is such a unique player because it's just rare that a guy that tall and strong, his ability to go perimeter to post and to put pressure on the front of the rim, just it puts you in foul trouble. It puts you on your heels. It creates opportunities for Al, and Davis and all these different guys. Puts their fives, Bediako in position to offensive rebound and be effective down there. So I think in general, you prepare for their personnel, and Shaheen uses them, in obviously a really, really intelligent way. But I think you're ready for the physicality of the game and just how tough they play. This is it's a blue collar team that you're playing against with a real blue collar coach.
What would it mean for you to finish 16-0 at home?
I think it's one of those things in the moment. You really won't even think about it. You're so process driven right now that like you're just absorbing all the data and information on Seton Hall. Plus, you're making as many adjustments. We have a week off, so we can really come up with some new wrinkles to what we're doing. you're mostly focused on that and process. And I think once the season's over, you get to enjoy the fruits of your labor because you do move on to the next thing really quickly in this thing. You celebrate the win. Maybe you have a glass of wine or whatever you like and enjoy it for a couple hours, and then the next day you are on to the next thing quickly until the season's over.
Yeah, because then you have at Marquette, at Providence. I know it's in the back of your mind. So, right now your focus is on Seton Hall. Dan, just a few more things before we go.
I
And
tried to close I didn't want to hear what you're saying because I never want to know who's like two out. And I barely even want to know who's after the next one. It's like I'm like,
man, this is the Big E. So I need to ask you a few questions about the conference here, Dan. These bracketologists, who knows? Who knows how all the metrics work, right? I mean, they put everything together, and the committee's one thing. The bracketologists aren't even on the committee. But, how many Big East teams do you think should be there in the NCAA tournament?
yeah, I think that's again, I don't want to cop out to be determined, but because there's still opportunities for teams. That we play true round robin in our league. So Seton Hall is obviously like everyone else, they got tough games to end it. But are you going to tell me that a team that's going to win a minimum of like 11, 12 games in our league at the minimum, maybe they win 13? You're even talking about their candidacy.
Yeah, right.
That's absurd to me because we play true round robin. I think we've learned a lot. Obviously, the aspect of the metrics and understanding the net and how to schedule in the non-conference. I think some other leagues maybe have done a better job of scheduling for that and taking an approach in those games than some people in our league have. But Providence is a tour. Obviously, you got the three at us, Creighton and Marquette. You got Seton Hall's a tournament team. Providence is a tournament team. And then you obviously Butler's big wins, man. They say big wins are important. Winning at Creighton, winning at Marquette.
It's pretty
Um,
tough. That's pretty impressive.
and now St. John's with the Creighton win. But some of it is too. It's bad luck, and you need the people that you beat. When St. John's beats Utah in the non-conference, they need Utah to go and have a big year. So sometimes you get hurt when the teams that you beat in a non-conference that you think is going to be a win that could carry you to Selection Sunday, and then maybe some of those teams don't have a great year.
Right. No, well said. Well said, coach. All right, little rapid fire, coach.
Hmm.
Just about your personnel. What's the first word or phrase that comes to mind when you think about, these players on your team? Let's begin with Klingon.
Kling Kong, MVP.
Okay. Tristen Newton.
Um, cool, you know, cool champion.
Alex Caravan.
Just never gotten enough credit for where we are. He's probably him and Tristan have probably gotten the least amount of credit. But he changed everything when he came here.
Cam Spencer.
Um, the glove, perfect fit, perfect.
And Stefan Castle.
I think you know, the five-star, cool guy. I don't want to be coached. My whole world is social media and acting like I've arrived before I've actually done anything. I just got a lot of respect for that kid and his family and the way he lets us coach him, the way that his family supports us and wants us to coach him and get him ready for the man's world that is coming flying at him in the near future. So all that kid's done is help us be one of the best teams in the country and doesn't care where we play him. So kid's been awesome.
Last one. Hassan Diarra.
if we didn't get what we're getting from him, I think the question mark about this team was bench coming into this year. Bench depth. Can we get enough from the bench? And him and Samson Johnson, and now Jalen Stewart coming on and solo ball. We've got the bench to do it.
One word in the end to describe Dan Hurley.
It's a long road, man. Like long road in the game of basketball. As a player, as a coach, I've always loved it. I hope I rep Jersey good out there, even though, I coach at UConn. I always feel like I'm repping the best of Jersey. The places I've been, Jersey City, St. Anthony, Seton Hall, I'm repping all that all the time. Hopefully I'm doing it well. And I'm probably the type of guy that you would love coaching your team, but you probably hate me if you're a fan of another team. But that's probably how it should be. It probably means I'm doing it good.
Damn, did you nail it? I've said this about you, Dan. I said I would love to play for Dan. He's my kind of coach, and I would hate to coach against him. I said the same thing, and I said to my daughter the other day, you could take Dan Hurley out of Jersey City, but you can't take the Jersey City out of Dan Hurley. Amen.
No
Good
doubt.
stuff.
Thank you, Bryan. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, and good luck the rest of the way. And I appreciate the time. We'll talk soon.
See you, man.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.